Hi, my name is Ianthe. This is my husband, Zach. We're from Oregon.
And this is our story. We've been married for 11 years now, and I'm a missions and care pastor here.
I identify as Filipino.
You can probably tell I'm white. I've been a Christian most of my life. I've always enjoyed thinking deeply about ideas, philosophy, and theology.
I came to faith later in college, so I was a young adult. And it wasn't really until after having kids that I really started to think deeply about my faith. I was really challenged as we started to think about how we want to raise our kids. I was challenged in my own faith, figuring out what I truly believe. I realized I accepted many things about my faith without deeper examination. Realized that many ideas I had adopted as my own belief system were steeped in some sort of critical race theory or some sort of liberation theology.
And when we started seeing more and more churches shifting their views and positions on long-standing Christian beliefs, like on marriage, sexuality, and gender, I remember feeling that the sense of frustration. Ianthe, she never really kind of questioned those things. She kind of she believed the historical perspective was true, even if it wasn't something that you necessarily had wrestled with quite yet.
You could see a shift, the way things were being talked about in church, in regards to race and racism. And many things that were being said were more like my sociology classes, from when I was in college, and it just didn't sit right. And so I began to really wrestle with, what is the true Christianity? Are these ideas part of that?
And for me, when the conversations around race and racism took a turn, even within the church, I saw how, if embraced, many of these ideas being pushed would rip apart families. They'd rip apart our family, or they could, because I was born white and my wife, Ianthe, was born Filipino. There was some kind of wedge, this enmity between us that would never fully be reconciled or erased. That was a problem. That was a big problem for me.
It didn't sit right with me either, but I realized I kind of had some of those ideas embedded in me. I grew up in LA, grew up with the idea that white people always had it better than any minority. And here I am later in life, and I'm married to a white guy now. And so, I had to wrestle with that and figure out, okay, I've been taught this my whole life. What do I do with this? And now I'm a Christian. What do I do with this?
I wouldn't say that Ianthe was really advocating for those ideas. I noticed that she was trying to make sense of things biblically. I wanted to push back on these ideas, and we did have discussions about these things. But according to these ideas, these ideologies, I was the oppressor. I was the bad guy. And so anything I said just sounded like I was trying to defend myself. I was trying to defend my privilege.
I'm on this journey and trying to solidify my faith, and I had to go find answers. And in that, I started finding resources like Elisa Childers and Mama Bear Apologetics. And that's where I stumbled upon, Monique and Chris over here at Center for Biblical Unity.
She wasn't just accepting ideas because they sounded good. She wasn't just accepting ideas because I'm saying them, but she was learning to think critically and biblically and hold things up to God's word and see oh, how does this align?
Found a sort of community here within CFBU. Even a few years ago, I had lost my job it was during all the COVID stuff. Monique and Chris caught wind of that, and they called us and to check in to see how, if we needed anything, how we were, and try to figure out what situation we're in to see if they could help us. That just meant so much to me that they stepped out like that.
Yes, theology is important, but Center for Biblical Unity was more than just being about ideas and theology. And when Monique says we fam, she means it.
Yeah, 100%. And I am forever grateful for that.
Hey family, join us this Giving Tuesday and let's boldly proclaim the truth of Christ together. Your financial support equips us to share the truth of Christ with others and boldly stand against the lies that have sadly already torn so many families and churches apart. For more information on our Giving Tuesday campaign, go to centerforbiblicalunity.com.